Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. We're really excited to talk about how materials financing can help you grow your business, alleviate stress, give you more flexibility with your finances, and really take control of your cash flow. We'll be talking about all of that and really, really excited about it. So as we dive in here, we have today's speakers, Kevin and Rain. I will let you introduce yourselves. Rain, why don't you go first, and then Kevin.
Yeah, my name is Rain Martin. It says construction payment expert here. So yeah, that's I've been with Levelset for a little bit over a year now, or right at a year now, and just lean up some of our processes on the financial side and specifically around materials financing. So I'm excited to share what we know and learn more about you today.
Yeah, and I'm Kevin, as it says there. I've been in a number of different positions here at Levelset over my 3 years, just helping supplier relations and specialty contractors get what they need, and have been on the materials financing and credit team for about 5 months, 6 months now.
Awesome. We are so happy that you are here. So we're really excited, as we said, again, to talk through a few of these things. And first of all, again, just want to say thank you to everyone who came in and joined today. Let's go ahead and get started. So we are Levelset. We were recently acquired by Procore, but we are still holding true to our Levelset roots. We're very excited about that acquisition. And we do a whole lot of things, but mainly we help people, we empower people to get paid. We help everyone from materials financing to your lien rights and everything in between. We also have a legal solution and all sorts of really great stuff. So again, thank you for coming. If you do have any questions, as our wonderful Dacia mentioned in the chat, please add them here. We'll be happy to answer them for you. We have a relatively small group with us today, so please utilize this time with Kevin and Rain and ask as many questions as you possibly can. They are here for you to answer your questions. And so we're excited to get started. All right, so this is one of my all-time favorite questions to ask because it covers a range of things that everyone in the construction industry deals with. But at the end of the day, why is it so hard to stay cash positive in that industry? Rain, do you want to take a stab at it first?
Yeah, I'll say I always like to start with saying that the odds are kind of stacked against you in a lot of ways. So especially as a specialty contractor, subcontractor, trade partner, you really, everything kind of hinges on you on the job, but the advantages aren't really out there for you to control your cash flow on a regular basis and to be in control of like your day-to-day operations. Everything that you do is hinging upon somebody else and their ability to be able to fulfill their need for you to move forward. So that in itself is going to make it difficult. You got things to pay for on a day-to-day basis. You got your labor, you got your materials, you got anything and everything that can come into play in a day, whether it be an emergency, things like that. And the odds truly are stacked against you. But anything you can take off your plate to start to move that forward or to alleviate some of that concern is what's going to help to get you towards that cash positive focus that you want. But the odds are definitely stacked for sure, and that's one place I like to start. Kevin, do you want to jump on in there as well?
Yeah, I'd say it's almost like you're chasing a carrot or you have these wheels stuck in the mud, because a lot of specialty contractors or even GCs are financing for someone else constantly, and they have to front all this money and incur all of this risk in terms of their cash flow at the beginning of a project. And it creates this cycle where they're inevitably not just on one project, they're on multiple. So they've put up material costs at the front end, and then they're starting another one, they're putting it up on that end. And once they're getting paid, this project is paying for the next one. So it's just this constant cycle of cash flow issues that pinches everybody, and it causes a clutter. And not to mention margins are thin in the construction industry as it is. So like Rain had mentioned, you incur this risk up front, and then you have other bills to pay. You have your labor costs, you have a number of other things that are still on your plate, and you have to go pay your vendors, and you have to go pay your subs. And it can be hard to stay ahead of that sometimes.
And it really is hard to find people who are like there to help. as well. I spent a good amount of time in the banking industry, and you have a lot of hoops to jump through to go that route if that's the route that you're trying to pursue. They want to see you in business for a certain amount of time. They want to dive into all your books and kind of pick them apart in a lot of ways, just to be able to like help to move you forward and to achieve what you're wanting to achieve. And sometimes that's just not the best option, and sometimes it's not an option. And what do you do whenever you get to that point? And that's it can just be hard. It's a really hard industry to be in from that standpoint, but that's part of what we're here to help and what we want to help.
Yeah, I think what I hear a lot of talking to customers is mainly specialty contractors is they feel like a bank. Yep. And with your background in the banking industry, what does that mean to a specialty contractor to say, I'm so sick and tired of feeling like a bank? What does that mean exactly?
Yeah, what we're seeing is that a lot of times the specialty contractor is fronting all the funds for that project. They're incurring all the risk at that point. They are buying all the materials to actually get the project moving and going forward. They're paying for the delivery cost of all that. They're making sure that things are falling into place so that the GC or the property owner or whoever it is that they are working with that they're keeping that on the right pace for them. And they're the ones who are overextended for, 30, 60, 90 days on the industry average, 120 days, things like that. That's, you're the one incurring that risk, and you're taking that on, and you're bankrolling, you're fronting all the stuff for that project and having everybody come to you. And then you're not getting paid until the back end. And that's just, sometimes that's too big of a risk to take on.
The number, Rain, is 83 days on average to get paid.
And
most contractors, so it's 83 days on average, but then vendors and buyers are giving 30 days, 45 days in terms of net terms for when they expect to be paid back. And then someone's not getting paid until 3 months out from the start of the project. So now they have all these bills, their credit is getting hurt, their lines of credit are being affected because of it. And it just creates a strain from top to bottom, no matter who you are in that payment chain.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I often think about is just because something has been one way for so long doesn't mean it has to be. And we talk to a lot of people that say, well, this is how I've done it for the last 30 years. And I know from our software side as well, that comes into play a lot. Like, well, this is how I've been doing my lien rights for 30 years, or, these things. And it's like, but it doesn't have to be. And we can help, and we can automate certain things, and we can be a partner to you. And there's other solutions out there as well. But, when it comes to your cash flow, and when it really boils down to putting dinner on the table for you and your business and the people that work for you, finding a partner that's going to be there for you and support you is really, really important. And so I think that's a good segue into, why do you need more than, just the standard, somebody's going to pay me when the job is over, et cetera. Why do we feel like in the construction industry, we need more options for payment? And what are some of those options? Who wants to take it? Let's say, Rain, you go first.
Kevin looked like he had something to say. I don't want to jump in front of him.
I was just going to say, it's funny because Rain and I were having this side conversation the other day about people overextending their lines of credit. Like, you don't want to put too much stress on that side of your business, because honestly, you never know when some emergency is going to pop up and when you would actually need to use that in that case. And sometimes you could be putting yourself in pretty crappy situations if you have to go and tap into that. So having a multitude of options is always good, because you never know when you're going to need another contingency. But I think Rain can speak to it more in terms of bank loans or something like that. So I'll pass it over to you right now.
And speaking, I know you brought up line of credit, but speaking specifically to that, you really you don't want to overextend that thing. You want to keep it at a certain range. If you're at 50% of utilization of that line of credit, you want to leave that other 50% open, because who knows what happens tomorrow that is a major emergency for your business that you need to tap into those emergency funds for. So from that standpoint, lines of credit are amazing if you're able to obtain them in the first place. If you've been in business long enough, if they qualify you based on the 3 years of digging they're going to do into your books, sometimes longer. If you're able to go through those processes and like actually make it to the point of having the line of credit, yeah, it's a really good option and it's amazing to have to back up your business. However, you don't want to overextend it. You want to keep it at that range to be there whenever you need it and whenever you need to lean on something for that emergency that comes along that you don't think about, you don't plan for, but it's there. And then, other options as well. There's factoring that's out there. Factoring can be a bit of an invasive process. It can be right for the right people, not saying that at all, but it can be a pretty invasive process where they want to take over your whole book. They want to go back sometimes a year plus and dive into everything and like take control of all those invoices. Whereas it doesn't really give you a ton of flexibility. It's either all or nothing. And then once you're in, and there's not really an easy way out from that point. So that it's an option, but it's another one of those that I'm, not as keen on, but I do see whenever it makes sense as well. Kevin, you got some more there?
Yeah, I've worked, just having been here for a while, I've worked with a lot of factoring companies who actually use our software a lot. And not only is it invasive because they take your whole book of business in terms of your accounts receivables, but they're looking at you in totality and not on an individual basis. And then they're also taking something, sometimes upwards to like 35% of each invoice. So not only are your margins thin already, they're taking something off of top of that, making everything even thinner, and you're coming out with minimal in terms of what you're actually getting in the business. So if you're planning for growth, but then you have a factoring company or a collections company trying to pick up on those invoices, you're going back into the red. Like, you're not getting ahead. Again, like I had said earlier, you're chasing that carrot because someone's just dangling it in front of you and you're just trying to chase after it.
Yep. And other options, just so we don't dwell too many just on two specific ones. I mean, you have your savings accounts, but obviously you don't want to touch your savings. Your savings is there for a reason. You want that to continue to build up. You don't want to use that for
Absolutely.
the job-to-job purpose that's out there. I know credit cards sometimes get brought up, but again, a credit card is an emergency use fund. You don't want to use it for these projects that who knows when you're getting paid, because credit cards, those charges get pretty intense pretty quick if you're not careful. And so if you don't know when you're getting paid on a job, you don't want to put something like that on it. You want your financing, you want it to be tailored to like what you're actually in it for. And credit cards just kind of another like overarching option that's more like not really fit for the specific purpose. It's just a generic thing out there ready to go when an emergency happens. So am I forgetting any?
Well, one that sticks out to me, because joining Levelset and learning about the construction industry, I was completely blown away at the numerous specialty contractors and GCs that I talked to that took out mortgages on their own homes, and you really utilizing their own personal finances to fund their business. Because as Kevin said, you're chasing this carrot. We find that, in this industry, you always feel like you're one big job away from making it. You're one big job away from smooth sailing. And that's not always the case. And so you bring out, all these options with your personal finances, thinking like, if I can just do this, if I can get one more, then you find yourself in a much more difficult position than you were in the beginning, because now your personal finances are tied up in that.
Yep. That's a really, really great point. Like I would never advise or suggest, or whatever word I should be using there, to use your home or as a collateral for something like that, or any of your personal finances for that purpose. Like, that's what you're saving up for your family. And that's what I know, like you said, Kara, you're one job away from making it, but what happens if that job doesn't work out? And then you've got your home tied into that. And now you've sacrificed all your personal savings or your personal credit cards. And then what happens when those actual personal things come up? that you need those for. And then just, I mean, your home, that's your home. That's your baby. Like you don't want to lose that at the end of the day. And so I always say, like, don't push your personal stuff up for the business. Keep those things separate if you can, if at all possible. And I never like to have that out there as an option at all, because that's just it's not the route to go at all.
I was completely floored and blown away that it happens all the time. So gentlemen, I would love to get to the meat of this webinar and really what I think our participants are here to hear about, because we all know that you guys all know everything that we just said, right? You're the ones that are out there in the field, making this happen in the office, doing accounts receivables. You're on the front lines. And so now what I want to pivot to talk about a little bit is what makes materials financing one of the best cash flow solutions for this industry. And I want to be specific on that, not why it's a great product, because we do believe it is a great product, but why is it so great for the construction industry as a whole in and of itself? Kevin, do you have any thoughts on this here? Or
I'll jump really quick, and then I'm going to hand it over to Kevin, because I actually had a call this morning. So it's very prevalent to this specific question, exactly what you just said, Kara. And we were talking to them, and she out of nowhere just said, "Wow, this materials financing product really is tailored for the construction industry in a way that I never expected." And that's so speaking specifically to what you were just saying, like this is the fit, and the customers that we're able to work with, the clients that we're able to build, they're able to see that. But I didn't want to lose that thought. So sorry to jump ahead real quick, but Kevin, go for it. I know you were teed up. So
no, I mean, how we like solve this problem we had discussed it earlier. You get a contract, you start a job, you incur this risk for that finance at the beginning. You're being a bank for someone, then you're waiting 30 days, 60 days, 90 days to get paid. Materials financing bridges that gap. So we're able to give you that cash flow so you can stay liquid throughout the lifeline of that project and other projects, and move money around in ways to pay for labor, pay for equipment. So it's a really great short and medium term solution for relieving that stress quickly, so you can go out and do your job and focus on the important things until the time that you do get paid. So that's really the plug and play method that we institute here, in terms of making sure your cash flow stays, like I had said, stays liquid. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, it's truly project to project specific. It's not an overly invasive process. If, we have plenty of our clients who use us 1 out of every 5 projects, 1 out of every 10 sometimes. And it's on the projects that they see like a true need for coming in, and like being able to extend those terms a little bit longer, give themselves some more flexibility, and have options out there to be more in control of their day-to-day cash flow and keep their cash on hand available. So that's why I think this is the solution. Because it is tailor-made for what you need on a day-to-day basis. And you can go a month without using us, 2 months without using us, 3 months, whatever it is, and then find that right project that comes along that makes sense to partner with us on. And we're here to help with that, because our focus is making sure that this works for you, and that you're able to carry this forward and do the right thing for your business. And so we just want to be there when you need us, and that's it's kind of that I'll be there thing. So and it's the truth. We will be here. We really will.
Ryan's gonna start singing.
I almost did. I almost broke into it just then. So
I think the adage I use is it's a lever to pull when you need some pressure relieved.
Right.
And like we had said before, factoring companies or other solutions typically look at the business as a whole, as we do from time to time, but it is specifically project to project. And we're going to find the solution that works best for you on whatever project it is, whatever the contractor feels they need the most help with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I heard a couple of times you guys mentioned the word partner, and I really want y'all to elaborate on that, because this is one of my favorite aspects of materials financing and Levelset in general, is that we become a partner in many ways. So I would love for you guys to touch on what that really means.
Yeah, this is something I'm like super, super passionate about. Anybody who talks to me for any extended amount of time hears me talk about the partnership and the relationship that we're building here. And it's true.
We were literally talking about it this morning in our meeting. Like literally,
I talk about it all the time.
Discussion about it.
And it's true though. It's really like what we're here for and what we're here to solve and what we're here to, just be there for. We want to be your partner. We want to be that extension of your business that's there to help guide every step of the way. We want to make sure you're getting paid, and we want to make sure that like your project's successful, and we want to make sure that you're able to grow based on that successful project and be able to take on more and more and more from there, or stabilize your business if that's the goal. If it doesn't even have to be like wanting to grow from that standpoint. It can be just truly stabilizing your day-to-day process and achieving exactly what you want from your business for your personal life as well. And whatever that goal is, whatever solution you're looking for out there, that's the solution we want to be there for and we want to solve for. And any way that we can fill in to solve that, that's where we want to be. And we're working with you every step of the way to do that.
There's also a human aspect to it too. Like, you don't just come off as a dollar sign, some commas and a decimal point to us. Like, you have someone like myself who understands the ins and outs of the business, understands the project to project difficulties that someone will face, and is there to solve whatever the problem is that comes to you. Like, you're not just numbers on a sheet or on a board or in a computer to us, whereas a lot of other solutions are, where you're getting hot potatoed around from account manager or credit manager or whoever it is. You're working with someone like myself, like Rain, like Kara, like, to solve these problems in real time on a day-to-day basis. So we have that extra love, that nice warm hug to give you too, to understand the ins and outs of your business and solve them the best way possible for you. I know we've kind of been dancing around in terms of like what actually is going on or what we offer. So in terms of like how the actual solution is implemented, y'all. So basically the way it would work is you come to us with a job and you have a purchase order or an estimate from a supplier and your contract with your customer. Turn it over to someone like myself. We run it up the ladder to our credit team and give you a thumbs up on how it would work, or if it's something that we would take on. So we will pay the supplier on the first day. So they don't have to worry about net terms being extended or paying someone when paid. The supplier is nice, fat, and happy because they've been paid right away. We turn around, get the materials delivered to the job site, and then extend 120-day payment terms to pay us back. So when you do get paid, even if it is difficulty being paid, 60 days, 90 days, something like that, we're there to partner with you and extend terms beyond what normal supply houses would. On top of that, credit approval is pretty quick. As soon as we get some of the information, we turn around and typically it's 48 to 72 hours within that time frame, somewhere around there, to get approval done. And again, it's project to project. We're going to work with you to figure out where this best plugs in. Brain, was there anything
I think
there?
Yeah, I think you, I'm pretty sure you hit all those as you were going through. One thing I'll just kind of touch on just a little bit more, that supplier relationship. So we want to work with the suppliers that you've always worked with. Like, we don't want to like damage any of your relationships. We don't want to tell you like to go down the street and use somebody else that you've never or never used before. We want to keep building on those relationships that you already have in place. Or if you're trying to break through with a new supply shop and they just haven't extended terms to you or haven't wanted to take you on as a client, like, we're an option there to like make you a cash buyer on day one, start to build up that relationship with that new supply shop, and then on top of that, get preferred delivery because you're a cash buyer now. You get the delivery early, whereas if you're on terms with them, you're getting the last delivery that's going out the door. So there's a lot of advantages there in terms of the supplier option as well. But,
especially with all of the supply chain delays.
Yep.
Faster you can get it, anything that you can cut out. And one thing that I also want to really emphasize is that you guys are the ones speaking with the supplier. you are not only facilitating this, but you are making sure that all the T's are crossed, I's are dotted. And that's the partnership aspect that is not only taking a financial strain off of the shoulders of the specialty contractor, but you're also taking off a personnel strain and saying, we're going to work with this person and we're going to help you out. And we're going to make this happen. We often see discounts on discounts on discounts when it comes to supplies. There's a really big partnership aspect that goes into that, in addition to alleviating some of that financial stress. And I know you talked about really being passionate about our customers. And one of our favorite customers to share is Vivian Bell. We absolutely love her. She works with Mesh, which is a commercial millwork company. And she really spells out exactly what we've been saying this whole time. She doesn't get paid until sometimes 60 days or more. And extending that to 120 has really changed the business. And especially for these verticals that have these industries that have really high material costs, HVAC, plumbing, these things that take a lot, millwork, that take a lot on the front end to then produce the finished product on the back end. This is a great way to alleviate some of that stress in between those jobs. So we love Vivian. We love all of our customers. Vivian's very special. Awesome. Yeah. Anything else that you guys wanted to add?
Sorry, Kara, I see a question in the chat from Gina about material costs over the course of a job. We do phase out projects. So if you anticipate that you're going to need something at the beginning of a job, we can get it paid for with your supplier then. And then if another set of materials needs to be done, a month or two later, again, we will work to get that supplier paid when those materials are getting set to deliver. Because obviously companies have different phases, like the concrete company will come in first, pour some cement, and then maybe they'll come back again at the end of the job to do another pour for a different portion. It's still the same job. It's still the same, timeline length, but at two very different points. So we'll phase it out and work with you to send over the materials when necessary for each phase of the job specifically.
Yeah, we have clients who have done upwards of 9 or 10 phases of the same job, just spaced out over time. And it's just, making sure that the materials are coming whenever they need them. They can also space out the financing as well, based on their schedule and whenever it's going to work best for them. So there's no limitations there for how many phases we can do. And we'll always, if it's a 4-month job and half the materials are needed on the front end, half are needed at month 3, we could space that out and separate those out in terms of the schedule. So
yeah. And Gina, to just kind of touch back on the account management aspect of it, that's where someone like myself comes in to understand when things are going to need to be scheduled out for y'all, so we can game plan when things are going to be paid or when your supplier needs to be paid based off of your relationship with them.
And it's awesome over here because we have such a unique ability, especially coming from my banking background and then knowing some of the other industries as well. The account management team may not always see eye to eye with the underwriting team or with the accounting team and all that. But here it's truly different. We all work in such unison together, and we're so much truly a team. We all communicate. We're all one brain. We're all working together to achieve the same result for you. And I can't say that that's the same everywhere. And it hasn't been that way in a lot of the stops in my career. So this place has been truly, truly amazing. And I think our customers, our clients can feel that as well, because we're able to operate together and work together to achieve everything that you want. So
I completely agree. And as we wrap up, because we are here right at 1:31, one of the reasons I think that we're able to do that is because Levelset was founded on the principle of fixing a problem, fixing a systemic problem that really infiltrates the entire industry and made it really difficult to get paid. And so with that in mind, every product that we have put out, every micro and macro decision that we have made as a company has been to continue with this mission of helping the construction industry. And now as we embark on this new journey with Procore, that is their mission too. And we have absolutely no plans to change our mission-driven, help-first mindset. And, we're just very grateful to be in this place. And so when we all come together and we remind ourselves the why of what we're doing and why we're here, we know that it's to help. And that's what we're here for. So thank you so much to everyone for joining. We're so happy. A recording of this webinar will be sent to you, as well as a few other pieces of resources that you can use, some calculators. We have some great assets on our website that will be available to you all for free. Thank you so much for joining. Panelists, thank you for having us. Panelists, thank you for coming. We're so happy to have you. And we hope everyone has a wonderful day. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all for joining.
Tina. Thanks, Wendy.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.